contribution of tourism to GDP to be 10% by 2030. And the third promise to transfer, to create the job creation in 20, from his home country to another country and stay one night. If I travel from Riyadh to Jeddah and hold a meeting in Jeddah, it's not a tourism. But if I stay a night, it's considered a tourism. So we motivate the international and the foreign tourists to stay as long as possible, because spending is very much important for the tourism industry. So we have hit 109 million tourists. The most important figure is the number of the foreign tourists who came from abroad. 27 tourists last year. So the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the 11th destination among the countries, the most generating countries of tourism. As it said that these are pilgrims and the minor pilgrims. So we highly welcome such pilgrims. They are very important for us as per the definition of the World Tourism Organization. It's considered tourism. But those who come to minor pilgrimage constitute 8% of those who visit the country in 2019. But last year, 50%. So we attract more and more for different purposes, for history, culture, and for sports events, and for the businesses, and for visiting relatives. And it's very important. We have achieved 153% growth compared to 2019. So we have become the fastest growing country from 2019 to 2013 among the G20. And this emphasizes the sound planning and the efficiency of the implementation and execution. And the spending amounted to 155 billion by 2020. And this constituted 4.4% of GDP of the national economy. And the good news is, by the second quarter, the revenue will reach 5% of the GDP. And thanks to God, we are on the right track and the trajectory to reach 10%, God willing, and which account for 600 to 700 billion. And this is a huge revenues, which is sustainable. One, France, Spain, they have long and well-established experience of tourism income. So this file is very important. How we could achieve this? When we launched the national strategy, we built in the strategy the ecosystem to achieve as such. The ministry was established. It was authority. It has become turned into ministry. It means that the leadership and the government sees this file is very important. So I need to upgrade this authority to be a ministry, and a ministry was appointed, and I was honored to take office to lead this sector. And the Saudi Tourism Authority, which is Visit Saudi, like Visit UK and Singapore, and such arm which develop products, develop the companies promoting for tourism around the world. And we established the Tourism Development Council, in which a number of ministers sit on to pay attention And due to this sector, the main issue with the tourism is cross-cutting. It's not a single sector or stand-alone sector. Without aviation, we will face challenges. So we cooperate and collaborate with His Excellency, the Minister of Transport and the Logistics, Landscape and Urban Planning. Wouldn't have been at the same level or up to the level of the cafes and so we cooperate with the Ministry of Housing and the environment is the same story. So you can find the communication and the open. If communication is not good, this can damage the tourism. So we try to ensure synergy with different stakeholders to make sure high competitive services and high quality services which express the high level of the good position of the kingdom and the services and which is delivered to the tourism and our guests. And we established the Saudi Tourism Development Fund. You know that sectors were generated because of the development funds, the real estate funds. We were supported by the leadership to establish a tourism development fund which finance the private sector to build a hospitality sector and the souk and restaurants to provide full package services for the tourism sector. Saudi Arabia, as I said, is a subcontinent. So when we conducted a full-fledged study on our unique advantages, we have found some. This conference is outdoor in this cozy atmosphere. And moderate temperature, low temperature even, and we have a breathtaking coastlines of the Red Sea, along the Red Sea and the Arabian Gulf. This kind of diversity of products that we can. Our offerings of products is very significant, and we are still in the middle of the journey, and we have a long way to cover. We haven't achieved what we aspire for. The vision of His Excellency, the leader, is huge. We need to unlock and tap such a kind of potential. And if you ask, I will answer. But I would like to say that we haven't achieved what we aspire for, or what we planning for. The second quarter of this year, we achieved 600 visits. They spent 150 billion Saudi riyal. So we are talking about 10% growth in the number of tourists in spending in the same period of last year. So thanks to God, you might wonder, many Saudis travel abroad, but this year is a very hard. This is a very hard year, pandemic. But this year and 2023, it was a very normal time. Despite all of these, the figures witness is a good testimony, and I wish that just make a tour. You can see a lot of activities. You can see a lot of turning out families visiting, coming from different parts of the kingdom to visit such and to participate in such events. For the development of human capital is very important as well. The world can build a hospitality sector, hot restaurants, but the most difficult job is to build a highly efficient human capital. thanks to God, we have a huge number of young people, and we have a very highly hospitable people, so we have this kind of hospitality as part of our DNA of the Kingdom of the Saudis. So, the word which is frequently pronounced or uttered, which is the Saudi people are highly welcoming people and generous people, and thanks to God of assets. We are a younger nation. Such human assets are ready and willing to serve and to help and to assist. This is a huge asset for us. And this is a unique advantage for us when the tourists come. They come for the people to mingle among the people and to be served by the Saudi people under the leadership directives. The first comes first. We need to open opportunities and to build capacities, and we raise the salaries and wages from 4,000 to 6,000, and the training courses and train courses to raise the quality and efficiency of the Saudi people. And the good news is those who find jobs in this sector, the feedback is excellent, and it's not the first time we rely on the Saudi human resources. We have seen such kind of Saudi human resources in the sector of oil and gas and the financial sector and banking as well. And the Saudization at that time was 50, double 10 times. So, as his crown prince stated, that we rely on great people. So, I am in a huge blessing. I am surrounded by such kind of inspiring talent. We need to train them until, God willing, they provide such services and such services that they have passion for in the best manner. So, we are so keen to launch training programs, and thus this year we train more than 100,000 at home and abroad, 50% in leading positions to replace the foreign leadership. This is if I give you some stories, tell you some stories about how the most important impact is human relationship when you are served by smiling Saudi men or women, and we have the will to do more. When we started in 2019, we did what we call the hidden shoba, just to measure the quality of the services and services in different sectors, and we received amazing feedback. For me, generosity is good, hospitality is good, but this is better serve economic sector, because such kind of spending, will be calculated into the GDP. So we have multiple and myriad stories here in Asir. You cannot imagine when we start early morning this program, we tour villages and small towns, in which we can see the potentials, and just to feel the pulse of the people. If we have huge potentials. such palaces, Abu Sarrah palaces, it was closed 4 years ago, and today we have about 3 or 4 thousand visitors, and we have a content, we have jobs. Yesterday, me and my colleagues at Madhami, the same story. They opened their palaces and they hired 13 young people at one location, at one site, and you can see the traditional costumes and traditional buildings and the library, the coffee, the museum, and this is what we need to achieve when we come to Aba. I would visit the small towns, from town to town, from village to village, to enjoy the culture, the history, and the local dishes and culinary, and this is what the tourists like this project. And in this sector globally, 80% people in this sector is SMEs. So we motivate. We have drafted regulations and of investment at the Ministry, Mohammed Abdel Hadi, and this is a strategic sector. We open